Yo, we back. Let's get this money. Good morning, y'all. Another Sunday to talk about the market and make some money. We got G. What's good, G?
Yo, what's going on? What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. Trying to wake up. I stayed up late last night watching that Tyson fight, so I still got crust in my eye, but I'm gonna be all right.
Watching the Tyson fight or the Nate fight?
He embarrassed himself, bro. I don't even want to talk about Nate.
Bad news bears, huh?
It looked bad. It looked real bad.
Hey, man. I was
Yeah.
asleep. No,
You ain't
I,
missed nothing. You ain't missed nothing.
good. Then we got Pizzle. What's good, Pizzle?
Yo, what's going on?
His was good.
Good,
How
man.
you living?
Huh?
How you living?
I'm all right, yo. Not too bad. I ain't as tired as G. I ain't staying for the whole fight last night, but I at least saw Nathan do whatever he did. So
Did you call him Nathan?
He need to be Nathan from now on. He's Nathan from now on.
You gotta call him Nathan. He was son last night, so you gotta call him Nathan from now on.
Yeah, he definitely Nathan.
And of course, we got Mr. Boxer himself. Ray, what's good, Ray?
Yo, what's going on, y'all?
It's good, right?
Can you landscape, Ray?
You said what now?
Can you landscape?
Can I landscape?
Turn your phone sideways. There you go. Appreciate that.
You got it.
And of course, my girl keeps saying this is who I get it from. Good morning, Mom. I know you ready. Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Debbie.
What's up, Miss Dad?
Morning.
So this week we're gonna do things slightly differently. A lot more streamlined process, but we got also a presentation that we're going to use to also help some people and facilitate our process. So jumping right into it. There we go. All right, so we're going to start with some tips for beginners, very, very briefly. Then we'll go to what we learned this week, and then we'll go to some picks of the week. We'll review some picks from the previous week, and we'll highlight some things that have our interest for the upcoming week. So first, some reminders. Make sure y'all follow us. Follow us. And you can follow us on Instagram, Game 7, take the S out, put a number 7. CB for Character Builders. Game 7 Youth Character Builders on Facebook. I hate how Facebook don't let us change the name. Like, I wish I could get youth out. That's when I made this in the very, very beginning of Game 7, but now I can't change it. So it's not just youth, obviously, but that's the Facebook. And then YouTube, Game 7. So if you're watching, you're either on YouTube or Facebook. So make sure you follow the other two. We would really appreciate that. You can learn with us, Game 7 Academy. So if you notice, when we're online, we kind of do like super quick teaching, so we can get to what we're doing. Because things like this, we're just showing you what we naturally do. Because a lot of people, they hit you on Instagram with the Bentley, or they hit you on Instagram with the big house. They hit you on Instagram with the crazy party, right? They show the reward, but very, very few people show the process, So we highlight the process by going live. But if you would like to learn, you can go to game7.com, enroll in Game 7 Academy, and that's where we can teach you this, and we can teach you other things. We got mentoring, tutoring, all different kinds of things on there. Also, shop with us, Game 7 Shop, game7shop.com. I just noticed I didn't put the website on there, but I'll put it at the bottom for you right now. Oh yeah, it's on the
It's
bottom.
on the bottom. It's on the
It is
bottom.
on the bottom. Okay, it is on the bottom. That's where you can shop with us. Game 7 shop. Ray also has a closing line. Ayemo.com, AYEMOE.com, Ayemo.com. And finally, train with us. Our Goal Line program is really focused on student athletes, but we believe that you should always treat your life as if you're a student athlete. So we have some physical and mental training programs as well. But let's talk about money. Let's talk about money. So this week, actually, KP brought up that we should provide some tips for beginners. So we wrote it out for you. We're going to go through it fairly quickly. You can always go back on YouTube, rewind, pause us, go to our website, hit us on the free lessons tab. We'll send you this PDF, any kind of free lesson that you're looking for. But for now, we just want to fly through it. But notice as we analyze these stocks, we're going through this process. So first thing you got to do is get in the game. You got to get in the game. You got to get in the game. And what you should do it right now. Like if you leave a comment and tell us you'll do it right now, I'll wait for you. Download the Webull app. Webull. There's other apps, but that's the one we use. Obviously, we're not getting paid for promotion or something like that. We just tell you what we know. So download the Webull app. Webull.
So let me jump in there. I would say one of the benefits of Webull, because another popular platform that people use just to get in the game is Robinhood, which is cool. I started on Robinhood. I think a couple of us started on Robinhood, but Webull is better because I think the biggest benefit for me is the extended hours. So not necessarily for options, but if you go into stocks, you can trade before the market opens and you can trade after the market closes. Also, Webull just has a lot more information available on the app than Robinhood. So, like I said, usually it comes down to those two when you're trying to just get into the game. And those few factors are what separates Webull, in my opinion, from Robinhood.
Appreciate that, G. Where'd y'all go? There you go. Okay. And I can't say nothing about Robinhood because I've never used it. But the people I do know who have used Robinhood and Webull, they've all switched over to Webull for similar reasons that G said. My fault, Ray. Next thing you want to do is scan and chart some stocks. All right, what is that? How do I do that? You're going to see more about that in step number 2. You'll see more about that in step number 2. Next, once you get the app, go to paper trading in the app. And I see it's a couple of y'all on now. If you do this right now, leave a comment, let us know. I'll wait for you. It really takes a couple of minutes. It's just downloading a regular app. Now, of course, to make money, you have to put money in there. But what we are advising you to do, you don't need no money. It's totally free. Totally. So scan and chart some stocks. Go to paper trading in the Webull app. So paper trading, it allows you to trade in the real market with fake money. So they give you up to $1 million fake money, but you can invest it and get real results. Now you can't withdraw any cash, but you can say, if I had $1,000 and I wanted to invest in Nike, you can do that and see how it would turn out. There's also another way you can do this on Investopedia, but maybe we'll talk about that next week. But on the Webull app, go to paper trading. They give you up to $1 million to trade in the market to see how you would do. Then you want to trade that stock via paper, which is the paper trading. And Webull doesn't paper trade options. We almost 100% exclusively talk about options, which is like buying the option to buy or sell a stock at a later date, as opposed to buying the stock so you can own it and then trade it up or down, all right? But we only talk about options. But Webull doesn't let you trade options. So the way that you can use paper trading on Webull They say you want to put where you think you would buy the stock because you think it's going down. So on paper trading, you buy it and you want your numbers to turn red. That would be a loss in a normal trade. Before an option, it's a win. You got to remember, it's a free resource with free money, so you got to get a little creative. Or if you're buying a call, I'm going to buy Reebok because I think they're going to go up. You want your number to be green.
Mm-hmm.
So get in the game. Webull, paper trading, chart some stocks. You want red for puts, green for calls. Red for puts, green for calls. Make sure you leave a comment, please, if you have any questions. Second thing you want to do, after you get in the game, make some plays. Make some plays, right? So find the stock you would like. Go ahead, Ray. Somebody say something? All right, tripping. All right. Find the stock you like to trade.
I was gonna say I didn't even think about.
Go ahead, Ray.
You on mute, bro.
Well, no, my computer was lagging. I didn't know if my speech was catching up to you. I was gonna say that is actually a very good tool in reference to thinking about options, but still selling stocks and whatnot. I didn't even think about that.
In terms of like the red and the green?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I would have thought about that before, but I didn't really think about it until I was thinking of ways where people could get in and learn. But yeah, I think that is a good point to highlight. The second thing, make some plays. Find a stock you like to trade. Find one. And if you don't know where to start, this is how we start. It starts with news and fundamental analysis. For example, this past week, a lot of retail businesses were in the news because of Black Friday. A lot of food production companies were in the news because of Thanksgiving. And they're going to continue, but more so the retail because Christmas is coming. Or a lot of stocks are moving up and down to have news because of the whole political situation with the lack of a president, the president-elect, or whatever is going on with that. And all of these different kind of things, right? So the news tells you who to look for, more or less. And then you do a fundamental analysis. Is it a new company? Is it an old company? Mm-hmm. Are they making money? Are they losing money? Do they have a good CEO? Do they have a new CEO? Do they have a CEO who's a former CEO of another big company? Is it a company that just merged with another company so one company can get bigger? All of these different kinds of things, right? So then after you find out what stocks you want to look at, you do a
Hey, Mo, let me step in right there. I was on Clubhouse yesterday and I was in a room talking about stock trading and options, and a few people, successful people in the market, they said it's okay to look at stocks that you're interested in or companies that you're interested in. So if you do like a lot of Jordans or a lot of Nikes, look at Nike. It doesn't mean you buy the stock or the option blindly just because you buy the shoe, but start there, because if that's something that you are interested in or have been interested in, you'll know at least somewhat about the company before you even get into a trade. So it's okay to start with companies that you're familiar with. You don't have to find the diamond in the rough. Start with what you know, or start with what you know, and do your research from there.
True, very true. And I would like to highlight that's more so a long-term perspective, which is fine. Like if you're into investing and you want things to go, you want to go with where your heart is, that's cool. But if you're looking more so in terms of, for lack of a better term, making money, you want to kind of let the charts dictate you where to go, But yeah, there's no problem in looking at where your interests are. So we have a free resource, Sector Spider. And if you hit us up for the PDF, this is a hyperlink. After I go through this, I'll make sure I pull it up so y'all can see it. That was something that was suggested by KP. More or less, it has probably millions, thousands and thousands and thousands, if not millions, of stocks, and they had them separated by sector. So they got energy, financial, consumable, and a whole bunch of information about each stock. So, for example, if you don't know where to start, go on Sector Spider, look at the different sectors, make a watch list of those sectors, and see how each sector is doing. So you can see that 1 week, hypothetically, financials may be down and energy may be up, according to Sector Spider, right? And then you go in there, okay, I'm gonna look for financial stocks that are going down, and I'm gonna look for puts, more or less a bet that the stock is gonna go down. And I see that consumables are going up. I'm gonna look for consumable stocks, and I'm gonna bet a bullish bet or a call that the stock is going to go up. All right, y'all make sure I pull that up after this. And once you find the stock, draw the play. So this is what you see us do when we pull the charts up. First thing you want to do is draw the all-time resistance and support lines. That's when you zoom all the way out and you find the previous high points and the previous low points. And you put a horizontal line to correspond with that point. Because stocks, more or less, as they grow and fall or stay in the channel, they do the same thing over and over with some differences in between, right? So zoom all the way out and point out all-time highs and all-time lows. Then after that, you want to zoom into current day, probably like the last 90 to 150 days or so. So you can see how the stock is doing today. And then you'll draw more resistance and support lines if necessary. Some of them may already be there from the all-time resistance and support lines. And this is what you'll see us do today as we look through the stocks. Then you'll draw your trend lines. So there's 3 kinds of trends. An upward trend, over time the stock is going up. Downward trend, over time the stock is going down. Or a channel, where over time the stock is staying in a specific range with a set high or a set low for a undefined period of time. So it's up, down, or sideways. And there are some lines you can draw that will help you find out what kind of trend that stock is going through present day. And then finally, make your move. Make a move. A call, you think it's going to go up. A put, you think it's going to go down. But remember, if you're trading paper, a put is going to make it look like you're losing money, which in terms of trading a regular stock, that's what you want. But if you were trading an actual option, you will be in the money. You will not in the money, but you will be gaining money. You will be making profit via red for puts. All right. Now, if that confuses you, here's the most important part. Step 3 is the most important part by far. Step 3 is get your head in the playbook. Immerse yourself in information and inspiration. If you want to do this, you got to learn the language. Like, we could tell you anything and everything about this, but you got to be able to speak the language first. Like, if we looking at puts, you got to know what a put is. If you know what a call, if we're looking at calls, you got to know what a call is. If we're looking at ETFs, you got to know what an ETF is. If we're talking about market opening and closing, pre-market and aftermarket, you got to know what that is. Like, we can't just give you everything, right? We've put tons and tons and tons of time in, and we still continue to do so to this day. So don't think you're just gonna watch a YouTube video and get it. Don't think you're gonna watch a 200 video YouTube playlist and get it. You have to do it, which we've all done. Paper trade, use your real money. You have to read, and you have to watch, right? Watch people that have done it and make some sacrifices. You know, maybe sometimes family gotta come second. Family can come second now, so they can come first later. You know, if you're in a kind of poverty situation or a poor situation, that means nobody before you has made that sacrifice. They were always there for you instead of making sacrifices so they can build for you later, you know? Or you may have to turn off the TV sometimes. You may have to wake up a little bit earlier. You may have to stay up a little bit later. You may have to find some new friends. You may have to be alone. You may have to put the pressure on your brother, put the pressure on your man, put the pressure on your sister, your mom, your dad, whatever the case may be. But it's got to be a lifestyle, because once you learn about the market, a lot of the things are very, very different than what we were taught. Like, you don't save. Like, saving is pretty corny. You feel me? I think the only time you should save is until you have enough to invest with a plan. Don't just start spending. I'm not saying that at all. but don't save and save and save and save and save and save, right? You want to invest or put your money in the bank. Like I've learned that wealthy people, they got a little bit of money in the bank, and a lot of it is invested in some form of fashion. They put money in the bank that's insured. The rest, they're doing their own thing with it. All right, so I can go on all day about that, but you must get your head in the playbook. You must get your head in the playbook. So Sector Spider. Let me go to Sector Spider. And y'all can jump in if y'all got anything y'all want to say.
I do want to piggyback off of what you mentioned a little while ago in reference to picking stocks or picking options that you're interested in. That is actually an economist lens. So, like you said, if you're shopping and you always want to buy Nikes or you always want to buy Jordan, like G said, start to look at that market. If you like cars or you like Toyota, if you like Ford, start looking at Ford, like look in that direction. I mean, if you're spending money in the area in which you're looking at stocks, that stock is going to go up because you're spending money at that company. So if you got a lot of something that you buy, if you buy a lot of Gatorade, start to look at stocks in Gatorade, because the more that you purchase in that field, naturally that stock is going to go up because you're purchasing that product already.
Right. And what stock is Gatorade?
That would be, I don't even know.
Isn't that Pepsi?
Pepsi. Yeah, Pepsi.
It's Pepsi. I was going to say Coca-Cola.
That's learning right there. Or is it Coke? I think it's Pepsi. It's one of them.
Powerade has Coca-Cola.
Okay,
Okay, I definitely thought it was Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a good point right there. Like a lot of companies who we think are companies are not really the company. Like they're owned by a bigger corporation. You feel me? So that was a good point to highlight right there for sure. So Sector Spider. So here's Sector Spider, and I'm gonna try to and y'all help me. I'm gonna try to speak on it like this is my first time here. So don't worry about creating an account. You don't need that. So where you want to look at are these sectors right here. If you hover over them, it'll tell you what each one is. So XLE, that's energy. Well, I can't scroll over. That's energy, right? Energy companies in this index primarily develop and produce crude oil and natural gas, XYZ. That's over to the right where it says about this fund. And you can scroll through and see the other ones: real estate, financials, healthcare, communication, industrials, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, materials, technology, right? So then, like, say you have no clue and you're just using the news to look. One thing that I would think about now is healthcare because of the vaccines and everything going on with the coronavirus. So I see that's XLV. So what I would do is I would go up here to Sector Spider ETFs, XLV, click on that. And it gives you tons of information about this index. So this is a big group of a bunch of healthcare stocks. When you got a big group of stocks together at a basic term, that's called an index. And you can see what stocks make up this index by going through the menu down here. So I clicked on index, and there's a whole bunch of companies that come up down here, right? This is not all of them. You have to hit next to see more, but Johnson & Johnson, United Healthcare, Pfizer, they've been big in the news with the vaccine. Merck, Added, all of these other different companies, right? All right, so boom. And no, you can't look over here. I really haven't. This just tells me where to look. So you're like, all right, healthcare. Let me see how healthcare is doing.
I will say one thing to call out: the index weight. If you go back, the index weight tells you what percentage of the fund each individual stock is. So that may give you an indication of the success, or at least the predicted future success of a stock, because this index is going to consume more of a specific stock if it's thinking that it's going to be more successful in the future. So, for example, you see Johnson and Johnson is 9% of this index. I've seen other indexes where the first stock is 20%. So to me, that's more indication that this index at least has a positive outcome of that stock, or a positive outlook of that stock moving forward.
Also, let the people know that different stocks can be in different indexes. You're not necessarily tied to one index. Like a stock can be in different indices. Sorry.
And the way that they actually make those determinations is what, based upon how much profit they make. You know, if you have like what's a good example of that? Like I guess you could say like Coca-Cola, because they provide beverages, but then, or Frito-Lay's or Pepsi.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have the beverage sector. So in the actual beverage, I guess that would be consumer. That's a bad example. Never mind. But I think they kind of go based upon how much money they make in the industry.
Let's process that thought. So
the way I was looking at it was, you have Pepsi, where they also own Frito-Lay. So Pepsi right now, they're not the number one bottling company or the number one beverage company. Coca-Cola is, but yeah, Pepsi's the number one like snack company, if I'm not mistaken, because they have chips and Frito-Lays and Doritos and things like that. So if you put that in terms of like the sectors, like Ray says, the way they actually get split up or designated to a certain sector depends on, I think, how much money, if they make the most profit in whatever industry that they're
in one sector. Yeah,
that's how they get designated to whatever sector that they're in. But you'll find companies in multiple ones.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look up Pepsi. So Pepsi.
But Pepsi may be in the same exact sector because it's all, or industry, because
it's all the same thing. Yeah, it's
all consumer staples. That's where Pepsi is.
Okay.
Consumer staples. So that's XLP. So, and let me rewind. Like what I did, I had no idea where it was. I didn't know Pepsi's stock symbol or ticker. I went to Google, Pepsi stock ticker, PEP. Came back, typed it in at the top. I hit go, boom. No, I came here first, actually. PEP.
And sometimes Sector Spider doesn't work. I think this happens to me a lot. You gotta like refresh the whole page and then come back in the beginning and then try again. And then some reason it pops up.
There you go. And then over here to the right, company details and info is where I found out where it is, consumer staples.
Yep.
And boom, now you got consumer staples. All right, boom. What do I think about Pepsi? That's in XLP. So I'll go to my app, and what you should do is make a watch list. Maybe we can do that another week, how to make a watch list. But I'll go to XLP. Boom. And this will help me get an outlook on how the stock is doing over recent times. So I can see clearly we can go back even more. Well, yeah, it was kind of up and down or so until 2019. It hit a big drop in December. Dang, it dropped the whole December for real. But ever since January 2019, it's been going up. Then boom, something happened in February. All right, clearly that's the coronavirus, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot less Pepsi products being sold because of the closing of restaurants, the pandemic, and all of the residuals of that, while they had to switch their business system to delivery and more Costco shipments and all that other kind of stuff, right? But ever since about March 20th, they've been coming up. They had a couple of dips here and there, but they've been trending up. I was like, all right, so I know Pepsi over the long run is going up. But if I zoom in to today, I see a W, a big W.
That's a nice W too.
you can start to, break things down today to see how you're doing. And just very, very quickly, over here, I can see that Pepsi's all-time high was 68.18.
Malk, this is the ETF.
Not Pepsi. XLP, the ETF, the sector.
The fund itself.
Yeah, it's almost at an all-time high. So overall, it's doing very, very good, but it may come back down because you don't set an all-time high every day. But that's where the charting will come in. But that's the way that you can use Sector Spider to lead you to some different stocks.
So to take it a step further, the assumption is that if you check most of these stocks, their charts would look similar because those stocks feed into the XLP chart. So maybe Mal, take a look at Pepsi and see if that trend, at least from Corona, is a similar uptrend.
So we're looking for an uptrend, more or less, with two channels. An uptrend, more or less, with two channels coming off an all-time high.
Yo, energy was like that last week. All the companies were all just going up.
All right, so
That's
Pepsi.
why I was big on energy.
Yeah.
So Pepsi took a big drop around Corona time.
Same.
Yeah, it
And
ain't
then
uptrending this time. It's been in the channel, but definitely Corona, big drop.
recovered very quickly.
Yep, recovered quickly.
Yeah, it's channeling.
And you channel, but still, even within the channel, is looking like it's trending
So
up. It's definitely
in
trending up.
And we got the W right here. Well, some kind of W.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what the all-time high is. All-time high, 52-week high, 147.20.
Close.
A couple of days ago, it was at 146. So it's real, real close.
So it's close, yeah.
So think about it as like the sector is the teacher. Like Mr. Malcolm's class GPA is an average of 35. So all of my students more or less are going to have like an 85. So the sector is kind of the teacher, and the stocks are more or less the students. But I don't want to spend that much time on Sector Spider. Let's get back to the agenda. And we're going to go to what we learned this week.
Just to not trying to beat a dead horse, but I thought about it while you were talking. And another good example of a company that touches multiple sectors is Tesla. And they have cars, and then they also have computer writing software programming. So it's like two different complete industries.
Mm-hmm. And they got to be in the tech industry because that's what they are. They're a tech company. They're not a car company.
Yeah.
And Amazon, of course. Like I know now Amazon is shifting to pharmaceuticals. Amazon needs its own sector.
Amazon, it can be in every sector, basically. Pretty much every sector.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Talk about monopoly, bro. That's what you're playing, monopoly. And I ain't mad at him. I ain't even want to talk about him, but I know a lot of people mad at my man. Not my man. I probably shouldn't say that. Mad at the man. But I ain't mad at him. But what we learned this week. So obviously we highlight that this ain't just about trading. This ain't just about making money. A lot of this is about becoming a better person and relieving bad stress. More or less, stress is a lack of needs and resources. A lack of ability and a lack of resources that you need to meet demands and needs. I'm messing this up. Lack of ability when you need to meet demands, and a lack of resources when you need to meet needs, right? Mm-hmm. So it's much, much bigger than making money. So what we learned this week, first thing, over-communicate. Share what you're learning. Share your plays as you're planning and playing them, and share your wins and losses. We'll get deeper into that in number 2 and number 3. And when we say over communicate, that's with in this case, your trading community. Now, everybody doesn't have that luxury. Like you just might be by yourself, coming from a family or a group of friends where they're not really financially savvy, or they cool with trading their time for money. They're not really into any kind of alternative thinking and what they've been taught. So you may be by yourself, but find a message board, find a Discord. Discord is like a focus. I don't want to say business group chat, but it's like a group chat with a focus. We were in a lot of those before we started to build our own, more or less. But people talk about trades, or there's all kinds of different discords you can join. So find a community and over communicate. Share what you're learning, like what we do. A lot of people don't like to share what they're learning, just for whatever reason, because they don't know it like a master yet. They don't want to share it, or they feel vulnerable, or whatever the case may be. They don't want to share it. But share what you're learning, because you never know who you can impact. Secondly, share your plays as you're planning and playing them. Speaking for myself, everything I do, like really in my whole life, everything I do, I share with my friends, from work, my relationship, minus obviously the super personal stuff, with my son, everything. I put it out there because somebody can always learn, or I can get some feedback that can help me. But especially with the market, I'm looking at this play at this strike price. I think it may do this. I put it on our spreadsheet. Boom, boom, boom. And then it's usually G will say something back. Yeah, I got that too. Or he'll post this. Boom, boom, boom. And we go back and forth. It's usually us in this space, for whatever the case may be, right? And then sometimes other people will jump in there, share what they're doing, what they got going on. And what most people do is they share the wins. I made this, I made that, I made this, I made that, but they don't share the losses. It's also very, very important to share the losses. So saying that, second thing we learned, one day this week, G lost 700 in a day. So tell us about that, G.
I want to say it was Tuesday. We woke up and the market in the first, you should have changed that to lost 700 in like 15 minutes, because that was all at the market open. Um, Everything was going down. I don't even think I know why, but I got as close to feeling like I was in like an actual stock exchange as I probably will ever get, because it felt like the sky was falling. Um, And in that moment, looking at my phone, panicking, I made some trades. I got out of some options, um, because I was basically scared. And it wasn't even because I didn't have a plan, but with everything happening so fast, I lost my composure. Um, I I got out of some plays, and we'll talk about it later, that I should not have got out of. And it was a rough morning. Luckily, I did make a couple of good exchanges in that commotion, and I think by the end of the week, that 700 turned into just down 200, which is a loss, but it's a win because it could have been worse. But the primary thing that I learned is have a plan before you go into any option. Know how much you think you can profit. Know how much you're willing to lose, and if you hit that point, you got to make the decision to eject out the plane, right? Like get out of the play. Um, and two, so that was one. Two, stay calm, because I think we've all seen this. As the market opens, there's usually some profit taken, and that profit taken results in some dips. And an hour later, an hour and a half later, a lot of stocks go right back to where they started in that morning. So had I stayed patient, I could have saved a lot of strife, a lot of my plays, and I would have made a lot more money um, later on in the week. So we'll touch on that with Slack, but yeah, it was a crazy morning, definitely.
And I like to highlight too that day, I I took an L that wasn't really an L myself. Just the night before, I was sending some screenshots in of some charts, and I was like, "Yo, I think City looked good. Like everything is lining up." So that morning, boom, it was like damn. It was only one share, and it was only like a $400. One contract. It was only like a $400 contract. So it was down like 50% or something like that. I meant 40%, like $100 or something. Cool. So I sold it. I said, let me just cut my losses, $100.
Mhm.
But then I looked later, it had a green day, right? I didn't trust myself. Like when we do this charting, the expiration was December 18th.
Right.
Went in it with a plan, knowing that it may go up, down, left or right, whatever. But I predicted it will go here in 30 days. This was day one. You
Right.
feel me? And we learned from our instructor. He said, as soon as you purchase a stock or an option, just expect for it to go down. That's why you got 30 days instead of one, right? So me too, I did not trust myself. I did not trust my financial education, and I let my emotions get the better of me.
Mhm.
And once again, that's why it's also important that we highlight this. Also, this isn't about money. At Game 7, we teach people to change their minds so they can change their life. You feel me? So money is very, very, very emotional. Like $100, you feel me? Like uh, don't take it the wrong way, but I've saved up tens of thousands of dollars to invest. You feel me? And I was tripping off 100, you know, and I didn't trust my knowledge. So just like G,
Mhm.
I sold too. But unlike him, I didn't get back in. I was busy and stuff. I try to do my market research in the morning and in the afternoon so I could do what I gotta do during the day. But I didn't check until the end of the day. So it wasn't just G that lost, it was also me that took an L as well.
I'm gonna jump in too. I mean, I was on paper, I wasn't on real money, but the Netflix option that I had, I was up. Um, when I showed y'all the picture and I was up like 400 or something on the option, that actual day that I looked at the market when the market was doing well. Remember, G, when I was like, Dad, you
Mhm.
took a loss, but I actually took a win. When I
Mhm.
said that, I had actually looked at my Netflix option, and I went from a $430 profit to a minus $225 on the on. So
So I mean, yeah,
just like
that's,
Vegas,
and
I
that's
was
the
I was
thing.
I was up. Then that thing just swung on me, and I was down 600. I was like,
Yeah,
God.
and I think one like analogy that I've heard about options, even more so than stocks, and I like it, is take the single base hits. Like Ray, you got $400 off of one option. Take that.
Yeah, I should have. I thought that was gonna be a little bit more. I was like, I got a little bit more time. I was like, option is probably gonna go up a little bit more, and lo and behold, that thing switched and went south on me.
True. But then also, I guess more so to G, that's where you got to be patient.
Yep.
PAYTIENT. Like, do you still have DraftKings? He froze.
You must have. I'm like,
He lagging. He lagging.
Well, what I was gonna say, I know I still got DraftKings. Right now, I'm up like 45%, almost 50%. So like $500 or so, more or less. But I'm holding it because according to the charts in our research, it's got about another $10 to grow. You feel me? In terms of going up and down in terms of its stock price, right? So I may lose another 200 or so on Monday or Tuesday, but I know I got until December 18th for the stock to go up to the number that I think it can go up to. So I might be pressed about 400 when my plan says that my maximum profit is about 775. So I could leave 375 on the table because I was pressed to take that 400, right? So I think what G is trying to say, once it hits your research number, take it. You feel me? That's why it's very, very important for your research to be, I don't want to say correct, but for it to be sound so that you
Mhm.
trust yourself through the volatility. More or less, it's like a relationship. You feel me? Like in all relationships, people argue. You feel me? You gonna quit because you had one argument, or do y'all got the kind of system and kind of communication to where you understand and there's enough love there that this moment is not bigger than our relationship. This moment is not going to stop our momentum. Right? So your research has to be cool so you can match the volatility with the stock market. The stock market is definitely a woman. You feel me? It's definitely a woman. Just like Mother Nature, you got ups and downs. That's a female. Father Time is just the same thing. You feel me? But the stock market is definitely a woman. You got to be able to outlast it.
That is a Malcolm original thought. I'm just gonna put that out there for everyone that's watching. That is a Malcolm Evans original thought. He didn't discuss that with the team before he said that. That's Malcolm Evans original thought, people.
Come talk to me about it. Come talk to me about it.
Let me finish that thought though. My internet went out, but it came back on. So the thought was, you want to take those single base hits, the consistent 20% profit, 50% profit, because those add up. You can't always hit the home run. Sometimes you will hit the home run. But Ray, in that situation, you sat on that however many percent profit, $400, $500 for too long, right? And now it's gone. You could have hit that and lived to fight another day. Sometimes even taking that profit, watching the stock, if you still believe in it, watch it for it to do some type of consolidation, come down a little bit, and then go right back into that same play, right? With more money, an option further out, and you just keep watching and recycling that same play. But when you get the chance, you take your money. KP, we had the same conversation with you and PayPal.
Hold up.
Yeah, I know we're gonna get into it, but same concept of taking that profit, watching the stock. So just because you take your profit doesn't mean that you got to move away from the stock. So it's a good strategy and it's a good way to think about it.
True. So next thing, I remember last week, Pizzle brought up PayPal, and I spelled out ELON and SLOW, and he just spelled out BAG. Right? What we learned, and I also just learned this from Ray too. Like I heard from Ray the win. I ain't hear about the loss until just now. And then with Pizzle, we was talking about something in the chat. And out of nowhere, he like, yo, I got a call on PayPal yesterday, and I'm up $750. And then me and G was like, damn, like you ain't tell nobody. He's like, yo, we talked about it on the podcast, did we not? Like we broke it down and everything. I thought everybody was playing it, right? But and I know G kind of mentioned it, he ain't go into it, but that kind of fits y'all personalities, like Ray and Pizzle. Like we may not find out until you win. For whatever reasons of y'all ain't want to be responsible for other people losing, or you weren't confident, or you didn't think it was important, I'll let y'all speak on it, right? But it's very, very important on both sides to share everything. Like, for example, with Netflix, I got my own personal strategy and charts of why I haven't traded it yet, because it didn't hit this certain number. Maybe that's something that would have made Ray wait, or maybe he would have been like, yeah, Malk, I saw that too, but did you see this? This is going to ride that move. Or like, G, are you on Alibaba? Are you down now, or are you up?
Right now, I'm like 2% up. Some news came out over the weekend that might make it drop, but I still think in long term it's going to be good.
You gotta say the beginning again. I ain't hear that.
I said I'm like 2 or 3% up since I bought it. I think I bought it on Friday morning, so it went up a little bit. But some news came out over the weekend about China companies and whether or not the U.S. is going to pull them off the exchanges like a couple years out. But that news may make it drop. Gotcha. So we'll see.
Okay. And I remember when you bought that, I was like, cool, I'm interested in that too. But I'm waiting for it to hit this round number. And I learned that from G. Like, it's at like 179 or something. Like I'm waiting for it to go through 180. Then I'll get in. So maybe that's how I would have made G think different, think the same, or maybe somebody else could have learned from us, right? That's enough about that. Let's let Pizzle talk about what made you get into PayPal and tell us about that experience making that money.
So basically with PayPal, I know last week we were talking about some things and we were going through like just different charts, doing the same thing, going through Sector Spider, looking at the industry, seeing exactly, what's booming for right now. And then kind of also using common sense where I'm like, you know what, this year, just personally, and it's almost like what Ray says, like there's so many different things that come into play before you make a stock. The way I'm looking at it is like, yo, I've been going to the outlet malls. I've been doing a lot of shopping during COVID. It kind of sucks because there's mad lines. You got to wait in. You're sitting there forever. There's only a certain amount of people in the store. I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm going to do all my shopping online. So if you think about it with the holidays coming up, you think about they got Black Friday now. Instead of Black Friday being just a week, Black Friday is like the whole month of November, and they're trying to continue it into like December and different things like that. It's like, yo, PayPal actually kind of makes sense as a good resource for people to use to buy. So using the Sector Spider, I was looking through different things. I pulled up the chart and I started charting it. And I was kind of able to see that there was a trend going on within PayPal. It kept going up. It kept teeter-tattling like the line of like the 179-ish. And I'm like, yo, I keep seeing like there's like 3 revolutions in it. This looks like it's either going to break down or it's going to break up. And I'm thinking, I used all my common sense, like, yo, we got the Christmas holidays coming up. Yo, I guarantee it's probably going to go up. So I went ahead, I bought a call. I think it was for $190. The contract ended up being $700. And then by the time I remember, I hit you guys up, and I'm like, yo, like it's booming right now. Like, yo, PayPal is going up. And I know Matt was like, yo, you should, definitely say something, which kind of piggybacks into what he said before. With like, yo, if you notice something, if you say you're going to make the call, just put it in the chat. Yo, this is what we're doing. And at the end of the day, when I got done with the PayPal, the total value, I paid $700 for the contract, and I got back a total of $1,855 from it. So I went up 147%. And that's, it's like times and a half for the actual what I invested. So I got I'm not necessarily say I got lucky. I was able to identify a stock, and then the luck kind of went past that once it started growing. So
it's only 700. I thought you said you paid like 1,500.
That's what I thought too. Remember, I came back in the chat and was like, nah, it's actually 7. So it was 700. It was 751 for the contract, and then times 100, 700.
Okay. It was worth 1,500 when we were talking about it. So he had already had 100% profit.
Yeah.
Talked about
it.
Yeah. And that was within what, 1 week, a couple of days.
That was from Saturday, and that was on what, Wednesday, Thursday. That was a couple of days.
Really, you bought it Friday. You bought it the previous Friday.
Yep.
And by Wednesday, it was 100% profit.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And keep in mind, we Googled it a couple episodes ago. The average return from the bank, one of y'all mute? I hear myself. The average return from the bank is about 0.009%. It's like way less than 1%. Now, this is one trade, but Pizzle just made 150 something percent in about 5 days. You feel me? So that's literally 1 million times more than you would get from investing as opposed to saving. Just to point that out. And I put go ahead, Pizzle.
Honestly, I would say, the chances of you getting 147% profit is very, very rare. So I know I was even talking to you guys, and you were like, yo, just take the profit. Take the profit. Yo, you at 30-something%, take the profit. Yo, you at 40, take the profit. And that's why I kept thinking in my head, like, yo, just take the profit, take the profit. But I knew I had that expiration date. I knew the date that it was going to expire. And I'm kind of like, yo, there's no point. Even if it expires on that Friday by 1 o'clock, the market's closed Thursday, I can still probably sell it Wednesday. But yeah, definitely take profits a lot lower than that if you can.
Well, I'm gonna let you go, G. I also told you to trust your chart, though. Remember, you have more profit coming.
Yeah, because I saw where the resistance was. The resistance was in the middle. Everybody kept telling me take profits. I'm like, but realistically saying, like, I know that I was kind of gambling with that one. I could say for the future, I probably will take profits a lot earlier than just sitting there and letting it just keep going. But yes, you do have to use your chart as a resource and say, like, yo, actually, it does have a lot more room to grow, or it looks like it's about to hit that resistance.
To build on that, what I want to say is none of these rules that we're giving out are like the number one rule or a hard and fast rule, right? Like, take your profit is a good. Okay. So I was saying none of these rules that we're giving out are hard and fast rules. It's not that you have to take your profit at 20% or you have to take your profit at 50%. It's not that you have to let the stock run up to wherever you set the resistance. These are all like tools in your tool bag, and the more you learn them and the more you practice them, they'll help you make individualized decisions based on the stock that you're in. So KP, in this situation, given all the research you did and your own opinion, which made a lot of sense given this Black Friday, it made sense to feel it out and watch it and see how high it goes. Other situations, you might set your resistance somewhere. You might hit that resistance in a day, and now it might be time to take your profit because it may go past it, but it may drop all the way down. So as you become a more experienced options trader and you learn these rules, you start to play with them and move them around and weigh them differently on a case-by-case basis.
Sure. And that's also, like G said, use your tools. Like if you're hesitant, like I made a lot of money, there's more coming, but I don't want to lose it, set an alert. Like, all right, it's at $79.50. I'm up $700. I'm trying to get to 8. So I'm gonna make an alert for above 78.20. I'm gonna make an alert for below 79.80. That way I know I'm only losing about $50 from where I'm at with the potential to make another couple of hundred. And then it also comes into to communicating with your team. Because if it's a good play, depending on the situation, there's probably other people in it with you. So you in the middle of a meeting, and I know G know he got PayPal too. KP, you in? KP, you in? Or like, yo, G, I see that I'm at this level. I want to try to make another G, but I don't want to lose another 100. I got this meeting, yo. Keep me posted. Or G is in this all day, yo. Mount DraftKings, it just killed today, but I saw their CEO just missed the meeting or something. Just call my phone so I know to get out. You feel me? Because you can have the alert, but you may not hear it. Your phone vibrating and vibrating. We at home, you can blame it on your daughter while you had to step off. You feel me? So use your team and use your tools. And then I sent a post, I think it was to the Game 7 chat yesterday, where it says your real friends talk trash to your face and talk great behind your back. All right. So I'm gonna publicly challenge Pizzle and Ray to make sure y'all speak up more. Because clearly y'all making plays, but also clearly KP on the winning side, you spoke out late. Ray on the losing side, you spoke out late. Right? And also y'all publicly hold us accountable too. But there's things that we can learn from the information that y'all haven't shared at the moment when y'all got it. You know?
Right.
And it's just, well, for me personally, you guys know how I am personally. I don't want to share something unless I know, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting it right. But my mind has shifted to like, yo, somebody out here is probably going through the same mistakes as you're making. So you gotta share these mistakes and these errors, because somebody on the team is basically gonna be able to help you, or they're gonna be able to correct you some way, somehow. So like I said, it really has become a mind shift for me, really. Just recently to like, yo, I gotta share these losses, because like I said, like just what Malk said earlier, with the whole Netflix thing, I probably could have just got out sooner, you know what I mean, and then took my profit, because I could have been like, yo, this is where I'm at. I don't know what the chart looks like going forward. What y'all think? And like I said, if it's heavy profit, I'm pretty sure y'all would have been like, yo, take the profit. I'd have took the profit and ran.
Yeah.
And I think like you said, your mentality shifted. I don't think just because you lose money, you made a mistake. Like the biggest part of this is a market that we have no control over, and it's going to do what it wants, right? So you could have played it completely correct, and there's learnings in how you made your decisions. And the option play, whether it was a put or a call, may not have worked out, but that information is still super valuable. So this is for us, but also whoever's watching, like that communication in every scenario can help to get you closer to being a better options trader.
Yeah. And then also realize too, like we grown ass men. Like just because you tell us to do something, it's our choice to do it or not.
To do it, yeah, that's a fact too.
If we lose because I lost as me, Pizzle lost as him, Ray lost as Ray, G lost as G. You just giving us a chance, like, yo, go check this out. This was going on for me. And then don't think you're not only handing out losses. Like if from the beginning you was up a couple hundred, so we all would have been up. You feel me? And then if we all you ain't say nothing until you was up. If you would have said something in the beginning, you would have been a man in that case. And then again, we up. And then we all look like, yo, it might be time to get out because the 10 just cost the 20 on the way down, or this is a
Whatever.
golden candlestick or something. So also
Yeah.
don't be so to where you're not pointing out the fact that you would have hit us with a W too. You also didn't do that either. You know?
If for real, we're always gonna do our research regardless. Like if I throw a stock out there, somebody else is gonna chart it. Or if G throws a stock out there, I'm gonna chart it to see if my own eyes. Here's what it is. So I can see that point too.
Did y'all hear him?
Some of it was choppy, KP.
Like a dog barking or something.
Don't worry about it. It's cool.
I got the gist though. You're right, because I think the point is you just throwing it out there gives us a lead, but we all see it differently, right? And it's been times where I've put a chart in the group chat and Malcolm might say, I see my resistance here and here, which is a little bit different from mine. And I might be like, oh, damn, you know what? I didn't even look back that far. You're right. Let me adjust mine. So again, it just the concerted effort just makes that play and makes that strategy a little more tuned. So that's why we have to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And Ray, as you say, Shark Tank, bro. You gotta swim. You gotta swim.
Yeah, man, I know. I gotta do a better job.
All right, let's do it. So, picks of the week. Over the last week, what plays turned out good? And if any, what plays turned out bad? So, good one. Pizzle, you want to do
PayPal.
yes? You want to pull it up, or you want me to pull it up?
For PayPal and whether they did good or bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it right here. I can share it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wish we won't.
You nervous?
Now I got it on the dual screen, so
You can't make money and be nervous, bro.
we're gonna see. Screen 2, share. Let me know when y'all see it.
There you go.
All right, boom. So if you look at PayPal over here, I mean, this is just how I kind of charted it. I was looking at all the different resistance. So, oh shit, it's a picture. So here's a screenshot. Basically, I was looking at the Bollinger Bands. They kind of looked like they were about to do something around this particular point. So that kind of showed me that, hey, they were either going to continue to go up or it was going to go ahead and continue to go down. When I was looking at it last week too, I think we pointed out like the revolutions on it, where it kind of went up 1, came back down 2. So I kind of knew that right around here probably would have been a third one, since I knew like the common sense piece about shopping during the Christmas holiday. I saw the Bollinger Bands getting kind of tighter because when the bands, bands will make it dance. So if it gets a lot closer, then they can kind of tell which way it's gonna go. And then from there, I kind of drew out my whole resistance. Well, my support was around 179. And basically all I did was I did the same thing Malcolm said earlier, where you zoom all the way out, you put the horizontal line at the points that you see touched the most frequently. And you really can't see it a lot from here because I'm in the candlestick chart, where you can see the actual candlesticks versus it being a line chart. But I think when I used the line chart, I saw it about right here, the 179. It kind of kept touching that point, showing me that it wasn't going lower than that particular support line. And then from there, I just went ahead and I was like, yo, 179, I think I found an option for 180. And that's why I was like, I can really see the potential of it kind of getting to around maybe like the 2-something point. And it's kind of funny because when you look at it on November, whatever that was, shoot, I don't know why it's not there. It actually reached the 215 mark anyway. So it was kind of interesting to see that it got around the 215, 214 area as well. So that was how I did this play. Everything looked good. Everything kind of lined up for me in regards to like the Bollinger Bands, the moving average for the 10, the 30, and the 60. I know you guys do 10, 20, 60. I just did 10, 30, 60. And it just looked like a good play. Hopefully y'all heard that. Did y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Cool. It was good.
Definitely review it because that can be overwhelmed for some people that may be with us. But first, you said bands will make her dance. That means the stock market is a woman.
Once again, that is a Malcolm Evans original thought.
I have no comment on this whatsoever.
All right, so let's go back through that using the rules that we shared for you in the tips for beginners. Because I know that was overwhelming for me, all them lines.
Yeah, my
A couple at a time. But first thing you want to do is go to your stop, PYPL.
And actually, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen too,
Oh, okay, go ahead.
so that way you can put yours up there.
Can y'all see mine?
Yeah, I see yours.
See? All right. So you make it a line chart so you can see the stock more clearly. I zoom all the way out. I was like, all right, right here, I see it hit this point twice. So I drew a horizontal line right there. I could probably, like, if things ever got super bad, I could probably put another one down here, right? So I see at these points, it's hitting this point and coming back, hitting that point and going back up. This point I've been kind of ignoring because this is the Rona and almost every stock has this. So that's an anomaly. It's kind of like just a standard part that's been added to each stock. And then I went to present day, zoomed in, right? So I saw PayPal was in the channels from 177 to 211. You feel me? So all right, it's going up and down, up and down. And if we look at last week when Pizzle got in, you said last Saturday? You can't,
Last weekend. It's Friday.
Okay, I'm gonna say you put the trading on the weekend. So last Friday was the 22nd, the 20th.
Yeah.
So Pizzle got in, dang, just in time, right? So we saw, I was like, all right, it just hit resistance right here, and I know it can go up to 211. So on the 20th, he got in right here. So let's try to go back to the 20th.
And for real, go to 215.
Huh?
So they can go up to the 215. If you look at the October 20, you said that was like the high. That seemed like that was like the resistance, or maybe Go ahead. You can continue.
Well, I put 211 according to here, right? Because if I put it up here, it wouldn't hit this first one.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
It can go up a little more.
Yep.
So if we go back to the 20th, right, where Pizzle got in, let's check some. It's channeling. So we probably, the bands you said.
Man.
So all of the bands, that's an indicator.
Dance and make it dance.
And he saw a squeeze right here. How the yellow one at the bottom came in a little bit. This one came in a little bit. And it also crossed the middle on the 20th. Right? So he's like, all right, this is telling me something is it's either going to go up or down. The bands tell you up or down, not specifically up or specifically down. But he used up because he was like, all right, people are using PayPal because they're shopping on the internet. So I'm assuming it's going to go up. That's when he got in. So that's a little slower example of Pizzle's trade. Cash Pizzle. G, I'm gonna let you share so you can go over whatever stock that was.
And you on mute.
What'd you say?
I said I'm gonna let G go over the next stock.
I'm trying to share my screen now. Okay, boom, here we go. All right, this one hurts, but I'm gonna go through. So this is Work or Slack, which was one of the stocks I called out last week. So we'll revisit it, and maybe this is something we can do. We can continue doing because I think it's good learning. But basically, last week the feeling I had was that, my bad, let me move over a little bit. The feeling I had was that this Slack stock was going to continue to trade within this channel. And we could add another line here, maybe like here. But basically, last week we looked at it around here, somewhere around here. So the stock was trading between 25 and 27 at that point. But the original assumption was that going into earnings, which is on December 9th, I believe, that it had space to run from that 25 to 27 area up to 33, I think is what I said last week. So this is actually a win and a loss. Let me say that, because based on that assumption from here, you can see it's at 40 right now. So it definitely did what I thought, but it did even more. The reason why was because Salesforce, which is an even bigger tech company, announced this past week that they had had negotiations or had discussions with Slack to buy them out. So when that news hit the wire, it literally jumped from, I think it was at 29 at that point, up to 40, like in 15 or 20 minutes. So if you listened last week and you actually got an option in Slack and you held it, you would have made a lot of money, a lot of money. This is one of those situations where I took the base hit instead of the home run. I sold my option the morning of that announcement, maybe like 2 hours before. And yeah, I got out around 30, made a nice profit, but I missed that big run. And the crazy thing about options more than stocks is as you get more, I guess, popularity, volatility in a day or in a week, the price of the option becomes more expensive. So not only did the intrinsic value go up, but that extrinsic value went up too because more people were trying to get in. So I saw some of these options run with 1,000% increases, which doesn't even sound real, but you can look at the options chain and you can see some of these options were up 1,000, 1,200, 1,300%. So I won't take the credit for this run because clearly I didn't know that information was going to come out, but I still think it was a solid play because you can see even before that came out, it was working its way to that $33 price target that I set. So yeah, it was a win. Definitely gave me some confidence in how I read the chart. But it was a loss because, to the earlier point, I think I had options expiring the end of December, one at the beginning of January, and I think one in February. So I sold that because of that panic on Tuesday. Wednesday morning, I got out and I had 2 to 3 months left in all of my options, at least a month, if not 2 or 3 months. So I missed out on a lot of money. Go ahead.
You had 2 months on the option.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, because the day before it was starting to trend down a little bit. It went up a little bit. I think Wednesday morning, it got me to right around 30, and my break even was like 20. One was like 25. One was 26. One was 27, I think. So I made a nice profit, and it made sense to take my profit. Let me chill. Let me get into my next play. And then, unfortunately, that news came out like an hour later, and it was too late. So
An hour later?
like an hour later, it came out. I looked at the stock; it was at 40, and
You were pissed.
I was hurt. I had to take a walk.
It's the second time me and Ray gonna tell you patience.
Patience, yeah.
Like you got a resistance at 27 something.
That's like a I guess technically it would be that's more of the support for this like mini channel here, but I guess it could also be the resistance.
But once it passes support, it becomes once it passes resistance, it becomes support, right?
Right.
More or less
For the new level.
620, you had another 250 to fall before
Yeah.
it was taking the fall. You had another 80 days for it to go up to
You know
30,
what?
33 or higher. You know what I
I
mean?
guess the one thing I did not plan on holding it through earnings. Like that was not an option for me. So even though my options were further out, I never intended on holding them past December 8th, technically.
Did you just get the? Did you just push him out just to get a cheaper option? Push the cheaper option.
No, I pushed them out. That would make them more expensive. I pushed them out because it met our rules of the delta and the open interest. So all of those,
Oh, no, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
all of those options had over a 70 delta, or at least sometimes I'll do like a 68 delta. But all had open interest over 100. And yeah, it just that's how I felt.
It fit the criteria. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's I want to stay on this for 1 second. So patience is very, 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 very important. Not just in the market, but in general. You gotta be patient. Like people, I mean, I gotta stick to the market. They look at this chart, they see red and green and horizontals and up and downs and all that kind of stuff, and they don't give themselves the patience for the work to pay off. Like for example, me, like I was down 5 G's. You feel me? I lost 5. I'm done. Like I don't got another, God willing, another 60 years of investments I can make. You feel me? Because I lost a little 5 G's. I can already see now that joint coming smack back. Like we done all between us, we ain't really had no losses for real. If we did take a loss, it's because we was up and it dropped and the bottom dropped on us. We wasn't paying attention to the bottom, but we ain't had no losses yet. Like that's coming back. So whenever you're working through stuff, you got to believe in patience that it's going to pay off. You know, don't get out too early unless you think, God forbid, you think you dying tomorrow. Like, yo, you got decades and decades and decades and decades. Like even if you 50, 60, if you took care of yourself, barring some kind of crazy accident, you got a lot of time for things to pay off. So always remember patience. Next one. Yeah, let's look at DraftKings. Let's look at DraftKings.
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, go ahead. You already got it.
All right. So we'll walk through this together. I'll set the support and resistance first.
Okay.
You like it here, or I like it at the bottom of this V.
I'll put on the line chart first.
Okay. Let me do the diagonal trend.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so DraftKings, something like this.
When you draw your trend, where you starting your trend from Corona?
I mean, it depends. If we zoom out. DraftKings just had an IPO, so it's not that much history before this year. I think it started sometime in November. You see where it starts? So
Yeah.
trend looks something like that. And then our support, I still like it here. This red line. Because you got a couple of bounces off of it. So that's at about 35. And then I say honestly, 50 has been a resistance. But maybe we'll go here because you got one more point. So 49 is your resistance. Y'all good with that?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now we can zoom in a little bit. And DraftKings. So what happened with DraftKings? Did it have earnings recently?
Why did it go on that little run?
Yeah, I can't remember.
Because Canada is about to legalize sports betting.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you can even draw a trend here. Something like this.
Yep.
Um, with the all-time high being 64. So go ahead, Malcolm. If you want to speak to it, you can, because I know you've been following this a lot more than I have.
To keep it G, I can't even remember when I got in, but I know it was somewhere down there by resistance. So somewhere around the 35 to 37 range or so.
Mm-hmm.
I think football season, basketball is coming back. People love betting, people love sports. And the news was positive for DraftKings to head up. So I got in around there, and I kind of just been watching it, believing that it could go up to about 60 and understanding that it may struggle to get past 50. And when it went up, just as G said, it hit 50, came back down. 50, came back down. 50, came back down. And G, he actually got out around one of those points. Before,
48.
yeah, you got out before 50, and then you got back in after 50.
I think I got out at 49, and then it dropped down to like 47, and I got back in.
Mm-hmm. But then after it hit 50, it stayed there for a little bit. And then it took a big run when the news came out about Canada that they're at least reviewing in the process that they're going to legalize sports betting. And then it took a big run. And then I remember in the chat, Dev was like, yo, y'all take y'all profits. You know, the market about to close early today. I said, I appreciate that, but I'm going to let it run some more because I got about another month left. And I believe it can go up another $10 or so. You know? So I don't really got no secret sauce to it. And this has probably been about a 2-week trade now or so, a week and a half trade. Just letting it marinate. But the key is the chart kind of dictated it, got in around resistance, and I'm letting it run up to hopefully to like 60 or so. But I got alerts set every day. If it go below this, my phone gonna go off. If it go above this, my phone gonna go off. So I don't really watch it too much unless my phone goes off.
I think DraftKings kind of it's like Tesla in the sense that it's very volatile, very visible. A lot of people talk about it. You can find it, discussions about it in a lot of different places. So I think with the right news, it can hit it might hit 60 this week. I wouldn't be surprised because it can run like that. You can see when it was at this point last, let's call it September 23rd, it hit 60 on October 1st. So in a week, it went from the same period. So it can definitely go. I think the Corona always does makes DraftKings act inverse. So as the Corona cases go up, like in regards to sports, if we have any game cancellations, if we have any news about the NBA doing anything this week, that'll hurt it. But outside of that, I think this can go to 60 within the next week and a half, definitely.
Yeah, true.
And then at that point, I'm getting out because, as you see, it can go up, it can go right back down.
Yeah, me too. And I hope it does that soon because just predicting, I would assume something's going to happen before Christmas and basketball season.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I'm gonna stay in touch about Canada and just watch in general with basketball season coming up. And basketball, they're not gonna get no virus. I mean, they may. with the bubble and all that, like they probably it's the easiest sport to do so, but they clearly got
You got the
system
elite
in
players.
terms of preventing the virus. And with the NFL, any given Sunday, they gonna figure it out. The whole league could get a virus, they be back on Sunday. You know, so I don't think that'll be no issue. But you got to be willing to deal with those pullbacks whenever that news does come out.
Yeah, it's just an overreaction to it, basically. And it'll come back. But usually if some news come out, it'll be an overreaction. It'll drop. And then it'll go right back up. So to your point, the best case scenario is we go to 60, some type of fear comes out, whatever, vaccines delayed, whatever it is, this will drop. And then it's going to run right back up when basketball starts. So now you get it, you wash your hands, and you do it again.
Just like you told Pizzle, like you get out and just get back in.
Right.
Speaking about a relationship, y'all having a bad couple of minutes, take a walk, come on back, get back in a minute. You feel me?
Because to build on that, just like the relationship thing, as you start to make these plays, you start to learn the tendencies of these stocks. So you have relationships with these stocks. So you know how, KP, you're going to know how PayPal acts better than anybody who just jumps into PayPal. Why? Because you've already played with PayPal. You already know how it goes up. You know when it breaks down. And that's when those trends are going to continue over months, years. So you might just keep coming back to PayPal every couple months and making that same 100% profit. Why? Because you know how PayPal is.
Yep.
That's how people killing Tesla right now.
Yeah, because same thing.
If I put myself like at 10 more green trades, I'll probably be willing to bet that 3 or 4 or 5 G's on Tesla up and down. I ain't got the heart yet really to put 5 to lose in a couple of minutes, you know. I probably got the skills already, but I'm lacking the confidence to trade Tesla. But I've been seeing people, this whole Rona, up, down, up,
making tens of thousands of dollars
just off of Tesla.
Yeah.
Just off of Tesla. All right, so let's look at this week.
Right. Well, I might as well. I can give y'all mine since I already got my screen shared, and then I can hand it back over to you.
And Ray and Pizzle, whatever you pull up, make sure y'all take the notes on whatever stock. And G, make sure you keep a track of it so we can document it.
Word. Okay.
All right. I'm doing timestamps, so I got picks of the week timestamped at 127.
All right.
So my pick of this week, I called it out in the group chat earlier this week, is Home Depot. For whatever reason, I would never think of it this way, but people do a lot of shopping at Home Depot during Black Friday. I guess for home improvement. But I saw that earlier last week. A lot of analysts are thinking that Home Depot is going to have a great Black Friday. So that made me look at the chart. And based on this chart, I'll chart it out as I talk through it. This looks like a typical channel to me. You got a couple of revolutions. I would say 2 because in the middle, you don't really hit resistance, but let me chart it out. So, wrong one, my bad. So you got your support somewhere around here at 269. I see resistance at 285. But you see, even with that resistance, it definitely has the power to go above it. So on a good pop, you can go as high as 290. Let me switch back over to the candles. My bad. So really, that's all I needed to see. It's not that much charting here. You got a good range of about what is that, about $16, which I think is a good window. I think I enter around, I think my strike price is 275. So I broke even on Friday. But even now, if you get in, you can get in with a strike of 280, and I think you still got some room to run to at least 285, if not higher. Home Depot comes out on Monday or Tuesday and says, this is the best Black Friday we've had online. We did X number of sales. I think this is going to run. Let's take a look at the Bollinger Bands, just to look at it. So your bands, I wouldn't call it a squeeze, but you can see this bottom band is turning up. This one's still kind of going straight. So we'll watch that over the course of the week. But even without that, like I said, I think you got even still about $10 to run to resistance with the opportunity for it to break that resistance and go even higher.
All right.
All right.
One thing about that, I was mad I couldn't. One of y'all got echo. I was mad because I ain't have enough money. And I was disciplined. I said, I'm only gonna leave this in here because this is all I'm losing right now if I can lose. But after a couple of green trades, I put a little bit more in there because I noticed with a lot of the bigger companies that are more volatile, they cost a little bit more. So just speaking for people who may not have the funds, don't feel no kind of pressure to make a trade. Like if it look good and you don't got the money, don't do it. It's like thousands and thousands and thousands of other stocks that you can look at to make the money that you can use to make a quote unquote a bigger trade. I know that's one, and that's also another too. Like especially within your friend group, a lot of people don't speak up because of that. Like I know Malk make this or G make that, Ray make that, Pizzle make that, XYZ, XYZ. I can't do that. As opposed to speaking up and saying, "Oh, that's a good look. Can you help me find one that's under 800?" Boom, everybody gonna start scanning for one that's under 800. You feel me? We changed the name of the group chat this week to Everybody Eats. You feel me? So just because somebody else is making a move and that doesn't work for your situation, use their knowledge of the play that they're making and see if they can feed one to you that works better for your own situation.
Facts.
You got any more?
Yeah. No, that's the one. I'm gonna just do one each week. I got a couple more I'm looking at, but this is the one that was like, I'm not gonna say a no-brainer, but it was the strongest based on the review of the chart.
Okay. All right. I got one. This one is for Ray. So for me, and let me make a banner for
This Netflix?
yeah.
I was just looking at Netflix. You know they increased the price of Netflix. It was yesterday, the day before.
Yeah, was it last week?
Well, okay, last week.
I think it was last week. It might have been yesterday, but in the past week, yeah.
It's like, damn.
I
13, it was $67. It's an interesting tidbit.
how much is it?
I looked at back in 2013. I think when they first started, they were like $67 a stock.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I got Netflix, and I remember I did this when Ray. Well, no, let me reset. And actually, Mom, if you still on, go to your paper trading and leave a comment of what number you have for DraftKings. Go to paper trading and leave a comment of what number you have for DraftKings. So first thing you do
And
is
I'm gonna pull up my chart next to see,
how similar
to try
it
to
is.
compare our chart.
All right. So first thing you do is put on a line chart, zoom all the way out. Look for previous highs, previous lows. Here it clearly hit this point twice, came back down. Down here around 265. All right, clearly it doesn't go much lower than that. So I put those lines. 416, it came down 4 times, put a line there. And it's been uptrending since the 10th month, October of last year, minus the Rona, but it flew right back up. And now you can see a channel. But in my channel, I see from 470 to 550. That's an $80 spread. Or it goes from 470 to 550. It has trouble with 490. So I put another line there. So when Ray posted that he was looking at Netflix, I don't know if I told him or not. I was like, all right, cool. I'm waiting for it to get past 491 because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 previous times it hit 490 and came back. I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait for this to pass 490, right? And just be aware of what it does after that. And this is also $60. So I have an alert for it to get past 490. All right, let me put this back on. But I'm aware that, no, let me go back actually. At about 504, I gotta be ready for a pullback that can come all the way back down. But still, even so, that's a $13 spread that can go all the way up to 550. And they talking about more lockdowns and all of this other kind of stuff. Netflix prices just went up. That ain't gonna bother nobody. I'm sure they had extensive analysis to get a price point that's a pain point to where people will start to check out. And people live and die for entertainment. They'll pay whatever they gotta pay for Netflix, right? So Netflix ain't going nowhere. So just a 490 to 550 spread. Maybe this can be one that we figure out the potential profit. And Ray, just while you're comparing before you pull it up, I got a resistance at approximately 470, 490, and 550. 470, 490, and 550. And when I look at my indicators, as Pizzle said, the bands will make a dance. So the bands is, you see how wide open these Jones was? Wide open. And here is real tight. And I could see it the last time when it was real tight. This was on August 25th. I wonder what day of the week that was. August 25th. August 25th was a Friday. Oh, hey, this might be the money shot right here, bro. And it squeezed. And on that Monday, that joint went from 491. And I pray to God that my deposit cleared because I'm going to need it. It went from 491 to 547 in the span of 8 hours or so. In the span of 8 hours, it went from 4.
Oh, that's a vicious.
That's
turn.
right. And the last time was a Friday, the bands was tight. This time it was a Friday, the bands was tight. It was right on the middle of the band. It's touching the middle of the band. It rode the middle of the band for a couple of days. It kind of rode the band for a couple of days here. So it's eerily similar. So if I check the news, Netflix to begin declaring UK revenues to British tax authorities. I don't really know what that means.
I would think that that's not a good thing.
Not only will the move increase to its amount of UK corporate tax, like these oh, this is taxes. Netflix don't pay no taxes anyway. I wouldn't really trip off of that, but that is important information. Go ahead, G.
I was going to say, it looks like they're going to have to. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
I hear you.
Yeah, I was about to say it just looks like they're about to start paying taxes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe.
So cool. That wouldn't really bother me because Netflix is one of those big companies that don't pay taxes, like most of them. So I'm sure they would figure that out. But I don't think that also would bring them down too much in the grand scheme of things. Um, so yeah, so the bands are screaming. It just broke the resistance. I got resistance at 491.36.
Mhm.
No, I got resistance at can't see 490.53. And right now it's at 490.50. So it's literally 3 cents away. So I'm keeping my eye on that and definitely would take a run. Ray, what you want to read your what resistances and supports you got?
Yeah. So I got my first resistance at what is this? This is going to be 477.
Okay.
And then no, I got my first support at 477. Sorry. First resistance is going to be at 515. And then if it breaks 515 or if it gets to 515, it got a chance to run all the way up from 515 for me to because it feel like it will fill a gap up to 566. And let me see if I can share my screen right quick so y'all can see what I'm looking at.
As he's sharing his screen, just a quick question:
My screen is sharing.
how long would you consider opening your option for?
We're gonna
And
look at
that's the
that now.
thing. So I did want an Investopedia.
Are you
Oh,
sure?
I was gonna say I did. I was going well for this. Put it out to like the 24th. Um, as y'all can see, this is like I said. This is my first support. This is my first resistance. If it gets to this right here, this resistance, and it goes above, then I think it got a chance to run all the way up to the 566 that I got right here, or just to the 566 that I got right here.
Ray, are you drawing your support and resistance line on a candlestick chart or a line chart?
Candlesticks.
Okay, I think that's why ours are different.
Do mine on candlesticks.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right,
I do mine on candlestick.
okay. Um,
And yeah, but I guess so. I believe right now we're at 491. It can really, for real, it can get to 518 within like 2 weeks. And but then if it busts that 518, it got a chance to, like I said, run all the way up. Just depending on how the lockdown goes. If we have to stay inside, that's going to, cause more people to look at TV, and so forth.
all right, so
So
let's
that's my lens of which I'm looking through. Okay.
all right,
Let
so
me analyze.
my fault.
Okay.
Let's look at some potential profit. G, can you go to the options? Pull the option calculator up, and just for so you know, this is where keeping your head in the playbook comes in. A good way for you to be able to calculate options is by oh my god, all these pages. Um, oh, let me pull it up. So I need a personal assistant. Here we go. So you can, and G put this in an Excel so we don't gotta keep going to this all the time. But just for the sake of the podcast, to figure out or at least estimate how much money you make, you're gonna take your delta times your potential price increase times your number of contracts times 100 for a call, right? And then you'll have to use theta times your number of contracts times 100 and subtract that number from your first number to figure out your potential profit. So delta times price increase times contracts times 100. So let's do two. Let's do 490 to 515, the first resistance, and then we'll do a 490 to 550 or so. So tell us what you need, G.
So price increase is 25 for the first one. I need the delta. So which option you're looking
All
at?
right. So how many days? So I looked previously from 490 up to 550.
Oh, we got to do days, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. So from 490 to 550, that took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days one time. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days the second time. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 days the third time. So to be super safe, you can 11 times 2 is 22. So you want to take out 3 to 4 weeks. 3 to 4 weeks.
December 21st.
So 3 to 4 weeks.
December.
So you could either conservatively do December 18th, which is a few days shorter, or you can do December 24th, which is a few days more.
Is it better to go more to give yourself more time? Like let's say if you're in that date range, like is it better to give yourself more of a time or to cut it short?
Definitely to give yourself more time, but
It's more
with time
expensive.
it's going to come cost.
Gotcha.
So it's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
See, and I would say either the 24th or the 31st. But
Yeah.
let's look at let's do the 24th because that's in the middle of what we thought. And we looking for a delta of 70. So boom, we only got 2 plays. This is your return per dollar. 70, but you want open interest of 100. All right, so ain't not either one of those. So let's go to the 18th. 70, 615. All right, so we got one on the 18th and maybe on the 31st. The 31st, we got none. All right, so the 18th is the play. And so delta is 0.72.
Okay.
You got the price difference is 25
25.
times 100, right?
Right. So your profit without any theta is going to be $1,800.
1,800. All right. And what about theta for, let's say it took 24 days?
What's the theta? I can't see it on your screen.
Theta is
Mal,
0.3.
are we taking in consideration? Consideration strike price, or we just ignoring strike for right now?
470. Yeah, well, I mean, the strike prices were less here, but yes.
Do we care what?
No, I don't. I only care about delta, theta, and if I can pay the bread. But I mean, but that's what comes with the strike price. You feel me? But yeah, I don't care about the strike. You gotta know the break.
Yeah, I'm answering.
Huh? What'd you say?
No, I need to really get this. I'm going off strike price and not really. I'm not gonna say not really break even, but I got to do.
You on mute?
You're losing, right? He going in and out.
No, my volume keeps going in and out, like it's choppy and it's lagging. So that's why I keep putting it on mute.
Okay, but I ain't hear what you said. You said you're looking at the strike price something.
No, I said I need to pay attention to the break even a little bit more than the strike price.
Yeah. What's the theta for 24 days? 24 days.
For 24 days. So basically, your theta is $35 a day. If you go out 24 days, your profit will be cut from 1,800 to 960. That's still a hell of a profit.
Yeah. Now let's put in, instead of 515, let's put in 550. So that's another $35. So what's that change to?
$22. So if you go to 550, your profit without data is 43.20. Your profit with data is 34.80. And that's assuming you sell it on the last day. Ray, is your question, do you do the price increase from your break even versus your strike?
So, all right, something like that. So my question is, all right, so you know your target, right? My target is, say our target was the 560, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to get the 560 price, right? I think what I'm getting confused is that target price and the strike price being the same. So we want the stock price to go up to the strike price, right? Do you get my question?
Technically, you want the price to at least go to your break. Well, you want it to go over your break even. So, Malk, for the option we're looking at 470, your break even is 497.
Yeah.
So hypothetically,
Okay.
you don't start making intrinsic money until you hit that 497.
Break four.
Yeah. But let's assume you go to 497 tomorrow, you're gonna have a lot of money in your pocket because you still got that time value or that time value.
Yeah, the time.
Yeah.
So that's okay. So that's what I'm getting messed up. My break even and my strike price. So what I'm getting is, all right, the stock has to reach this strike price in order for me to make money. When I'm thinking, well, I should be thinking the stock needs to at least go to break even first, and then anything that's past the break even, that's my profit.
Correct.
Do you get my lens or what I'm
Nah, that's
how I'm seeing it?
Yeah, that's 100% right. You're seeing it right. Which, and I think we asked the same question last week. As we're doing these profit calculators, should we be looking at the profit from break even as opposed to strike? Is that a fair outlook?
Yeah.
Right. So instead of
what price does it need to get to for break even, and then calculate my profit from there? But
right.
To our break even, I need to go back over and rehash that. How am I getting to my break even?
So your strike, so that 470 plus whatever you pay for the option. So quick math tells me that this option is $27.30.
Boom, 27.36 right here.
Yeah, I can't even see it. It's so small, but yeah.
Yeah, the last price was 27.36. So it's your price plus, well, how they give it to you, the strike price plus the last contract purchase. So 470 strike plus 27.36 last contract is your break even.
But your break even is whatever you pay for it. So this is just showing you what the last break even was because that person paid 27.36. If you paid 25, your break even is 495.
Correct.
Your break even is
okay
plus your premium.
It comes. Yeah. All right, so that's that small piece is what was messing me up because I'm going off of, I'm not even looking at break even. I was looking at strike and like, yeah, that was throwing me off.
Yeah, I don't even look at the strike no more. I just kind of like the title with all the information for it. You know. Yeah, that's my pick. It's a little expensive, but at the least,
I like it.
watch it. Let's see what's the comment say.
Let's see.
All right, boom. So for example, my mom, I took her phone, I put her in Webull, I put her in DraftKings paper trading. Now she's up 860, right? That's only $8.50 on Webull paper trading. But remember, that's not an option. Like with a regular trade, there's no multipliers. Like for getting it at a certain time or a certain increase in profit, there's no multipliers, or not as many as options, right? But for one trade, an option trade of DraftKings, right now, at the time I put her in, she would be up 500. You feel me? So while you're trading paper, you just need to focus on green and red. Green and red. If it's green, you're doing good. If you did a call, if you did a put, green is bad, right? But for this, green DraftKings is good. You winning while you're learning. A red DraftKings for this will be bad. You're losing while you're learning, right? So just get in the habit of doing the paper trades and seeing the green or red, right? And don't get that $8.60 is $460 lower than what the actual profit is. You know, but thanks, man. I wanted to see what it looked like in your paper trade. So Pizzle or Ray, y'all got a pick for the week?
Yeah, one particular pick that I'm kind of looking at, and I don't know if I should play it or not, but I'm kind of looking at Aflac. So in regard to insurance, I know that right now insurance companies have been like on the boom for moving up. Chart wise is decent, but I know that they are on the increase. Some of the contributing factors towards that is the fact that what happened? They're saying something with COVID cases, and a lot of people don't have jobs, so people are starting to pay a lot more like out of pocket. Or people just didn't have insurance, so now they're realizing that they need the insurances. So they're starting to go to like Aflac and different insurance companies and starting to sign up for the various packages. So I'm assuming that's the increase that we've seen the past few weeks. But for some reason, I mean, it's kind of interesting to me. I'm just trying to dissect it a little more to kind of put, chart it a little more to see if there's a trend. But it's hard to see if there's a trend because recently it's just kind of shot up. But I mean, they're saying insurance is up anyway.
I mean, since November, it's clearly trending up.
Yeah.
33 to 45.
Yep. And then I think with COVID cases continuing to be on the rise, about to go through the second wave. You still got a lot of people who don't have money. You still got a lot of people who do have money, but they're going to spend all the money on Christmas gifts, so they're going to be broke afterwards. So it just seems like a lot of potential with that particular stock. I do want to keep watching it though, but it's trending up heavy.
All right, well,
go ahead, Mark.
So since it's trending, it's clearly uptrending, and this is where Devin will help. It looks like it's forming some kind of triangle. And in a trending stock, we can use the bands, and we can use especially the exponential moving average. So if we use the bands, that joint wide open, but it's falling off of the top band. Okay, so it's not growing as fast, but the band is wide open, and the bottom band is turning up a little bit. And if you look at the moving average, the 10 is above the 20 and the 50, and it's been kind of consistently going up.
Right.
All right. So clearly it's going up. And it's about to hit the resistance as it travels up. And the 52-week high is 55.07. It's about $10 from that.
Yep.
For me, I don't know. I'm
not enough info here.
Yeah, that's what it gets kind of.
It's like we late to the party. But like if we would have saw this trade at October 30th, it's clear when we're sitting in resistance, we could have got in there and we would have been up here. So here I think that we a little late to the party. with the potential that it could last for a couple more hours. So
I mean, that's typically us anyway. So
I mean, conversely, with this, you see what we have to see what it does with this resistance. Sorry, this support. It might go back down. This might be a put opportunity.
and that's what I'm too.
Yeah,
I was just about to say that.
you've been living between 34 and 47 for since Corona started. Maybe you got this jump up. Maybe it goes back down to that
34.
channel. Yeah, or even 47. Is that 47 or 42? That's 42. Even if it goes down to like 38, 39, 40, you can make some money there, depending on your strike price.
Yep.
And your break even.
Or like you said, we can play it off of the 42, which is now support. You know,
Right.
because it hit 42 3 days on the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 or so trading days for the last 2 weeks. So maybe you can catch it down when it hit 42, ride the wave up to the 55 or 56.
If it gets to that point, I mean, it's potential. I want to definitely watch that one. And then Progressive is another insurance company that I'm banking on going down. PGR. So I'm definitely because they're kind of like the same way, and I feel like Progressive is going to drop.
You tell me why? Because I got it right at a resistance.
Yeah, well, it's at the resistance right now, but look how high it's been. Isn't that the 52 week? I mean, the thing that is out now is very high compared to the past. Like if you scroll down, I think it's like
it's $14 away from the 52-week high.
$14. Yeah, I mean,
Go out some more, Mount. Go like pre-corona.
because even like
That's
it's
gonna look like it's about to.
So to me, and I've been trying to study chart patterns more, that looks like a head and shoulders. I don't know if y'all have seen that before.
Mm-mm.
So head and shoulders, Mount, it would really start back up where you started.
Up here?
Yeah, zoom in just a little bit to spread it out a little bit. So I'm pretty sure, I mean, I'm like,
right here.
the head is at the top and then the shoulders are to the left and right. And it may not be perfect, but typically that indicates a drop, but it also that drop might have been that gap down in that long red candle. So maybe we are at the one to the right of it.
Drop.
Right here. Yeah.
Where you broke, even though I would say so I think the shoulder is to the right of it.
This one.
Go to and then where you get that gap and you broke that support is that might have been the end of the downtrend, and maybe it's turning, but I don't know. I think we're at a pivotal point. If it breaks this support, it's probably going down.
Yeah.
Let's
I will watch it.
Let's check the sector. I don't know what sector that is.
What one was it? Cause I found it on the sector side.
That's why I'm about to find it too. That is finance.
Finance.
And finance, they had a great week last week. So that's so if I go to watch list, sectors, financial, yeah, they clearly trending up big time.
Mm-hmm.
They're clearly trending up. They had a great week last week. But I would think that this joint about to go up, bro.
You think so?
Yeah, because it's clearly at since July 20th. It's at
I just said.
China.
Yes, you right. Always ready to fight. But it's clearly at support.
It's within that channel, just like G said.
You just got to see what it does from here.
Yeah.
This is not something I would jump in on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Nah.
It's watching.
And it's
Yeah.
also a small spread. Like even from bottom to top, it's only 88 to 95. Unlike Netflix, we just looked at like a $60 spread.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of room to grow.
Yep.
You know? But I think it's a good one to watch. Let's see how much the options are. Like we said, if the other ones are too expensive for you, this might be one you can play. So going from 88 to 95 previously, that was 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, about 15 days.
So about 3 days out.
15 days.
3 weeks to
I mean,
a month.
It's a January 15th option.
That's probably what I would play. I guess you don't have no option in this case, no choice.
It's a bunch that you can look at too. The most plays is the 75. The break even is 95. And what we think it can go up to?
I think right around there.
We don't even think it can go up to but 95.
Right.
Yeah, so I wouldn't really mess with this one. This can be a good one to watch though, for a learning experience. Let me put a banner. PGR.
Take note too.
But like I know this is just how I think about it. Look at the 85.
85.
Your break even is 90. Your delta is 0.69.
Mm-hmm.
If you really felt strongly, you could get that one.
Yeah.
For $550.
$550. So it's not the most expensive option in the world. You still get your time for it to run, but you would have to feel strongly about the direction it's going.
Yeah.
What's the theta though?
Huh?
What's the theta?
I said
Theta,
no.
$3 a day.
All right, so let's just type that in just to get an idea. So we said the delta was 0.69. The price increase we said to 95.
Yeah, 757.
All right, theta was 0.03, negative 0.03.
Mm-hmm. And this is January 15th. So how many days is that? That's 7, 14, 21, 28, 35,
45.
40, 47 days.
47.
So all right, without theta, you would make $500. So that's 100% return, more or less, a little bit less. With theta, assuming you sell it on the last day, you would still make $381. So that's what, a 70% return, roughly, maybe 80.
Yeah, that's not bad.
That's not bad at all.
But that's when you also will have to like really calculate your moves. Like if you don't got that much bread to invest, do you want to tie up 500 for 45 days, right? Because you got this move, cool. Or would you be a little bit more patient and find some other moves that may give you a potentially quicker return, or maybe you want a longer return?
And just for educational purposes, you don't have to hold the option to the last day. You can sell it anytime in between there. So best case scenario, Progressive runs to 95 this week. Now you sell that option in 5 days as opposed to 45 days. You can sell at any point during that expiration window that you feel like getting out of the trade.
So what's that profit with a 5 instead of a 45? 4 days.
So it went from 381 to 507.
There you go. And to like with theta, that's like saying, I use Alabama. Like if you betting on Alabama to win and they up by 40 in the first quarter, you're gonna get a lot more money than if it took them 4 quarters and 4 more overtimes to get to whatever you bet. You feel me? So you can win, and like Nate Robinson. You got knocked out in the first round, you won, as opposed to going all 12.
Nathan.
Nathan.
Yeah, my fault, Nathan. What you got, Ray? You got unmute.
Sorry, I was going off about Nathaniel. I got a company's the bookings joint. Let me see.
Travel booking.
It is EKGN. That's the ticker.
AKGN.
BKNG. That's the ticker.
BKNG. My fault. You're doing going in and out. BKNG. All right. Let me put the name. BK. I would think that was Burger King.
That could be Burger King.
I thought it was at first.
All right. So let's see if our charts line up. So I'm putting on a line chart. Zoom all the way out. Can't really go out. Man, this joint expensive. That's $3,000.
Yeah. But this gap down, it makes me what you call it?
I'm happy you said that.
Makes me a little excited.
Sheesh.
All right. So I got a lot going on. All right. So what you thinking?
So I see a support at like 1545. Again, I'm on candlesticks, so mine's is a little bit, no, maybe off a little bit more. I see a resistance at like 2129, but I see that it usually, and that's like at a high level, that the 2129 that it usually trade at. It's trading like right at resistance now. But I think it could gap down and start channeling at like 1900. So that's like a almost $200 channel.
$1,900. All right, talk to me.
Yeah.
Where you getting 1,900 from?
Okay, hold on. Let me share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is where I drew my first support right here. This is where it's channeling at right here, right now. I mean, this is where it's at right now. And I believe if it gaps down, it'll gap down to about like right here into the 19s. And it'll start like trading in between this level right here. Because if you go back, like when it went down first, or when it was up here, it dropped all the way back down. But then when it started channeling back up, this is the area in which it was channeling around. So I believe it's gonna gap back down to around this area here. Am I making sense? Yes, no, maybe.
What's making
Yeah, I'm following you.
I mean, talk to me. If y'all don't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm following you. I definitely believe in the get down. I just don't know if you can predict where it'll channel once it gaps down. But I think the gap down is good money in itself.
But I'm not following
The reason
gap
I
down.
say
Where's the gap down at?
He's saying that it will gap down.
and hit that support of
But- bring it up on yours again, Mal, because my Weeble is not as illustration friendly as the Benzinga.
well, you can always download the app too, right? So I thought the same thing, but Webull has an app. I download the app and it looks the same way, but I'm not sure if they're using this.
Yeah.
This is Weeble that I'm using.
You using Weeble right now?
Yeah.
This what you looking at is it is Weeble. But mine,
It's a-
I don't know why.
Because you're using the web-based app. Instead, there's an actual application that you can open up in your computer that has Webull. You gotta download that, and it makes it a lot easier.
No, I just go to app.weeble.com.
Oh no, I got the actual app, like downloaded to my MacBook. I just open that up, and everything's in there.
I just go to app.weeble.com and use that.
You can do that too. Yep.
I don't know. That's what I'm on. I'm on app.weeble.com.
I don't know. All right, but tell me, because I'm like a gap down, the last gap down that I see, correct me if I'm wrong,
No,
was Corona.
Yeah, so okay. Go back over.
Uh-huh.
So it gapped up, right? Go to what's that, November 6th or November 6th and November 9th, it gapped all the way up, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna gap back down because it's gonna gap back down to that last level of resistance.
But I'm saying, like, what makes you think it's going to gap though instead of fall? Like a gap means it's going to open down here, like it's not going to fall down. Like, and that
No,
means
all right. So when I'm saying gap down, I mean it's going to fill this space. So it's going to fall, and then it's going to start channeling like around. So that's when I mean gap down. That's what I mean. It's going to gap down and then start channeling like right around that 1900, that 19 space. That's what I mean by when I say I'm a gap down. It's going to start trading and channeling because it shot up right there. So this is, like I said, that's where it's channeling in between.
I can see that.
All right. Yeah, that's what confused me because
I just don't know the time frame. Say that again.
I said that's where I was confused because a fall means day by day by day it's going to drop. A gap means it's going to open up, they drop. Like it wasn't no fall. Like here, it didn't climb up.
So
You're going
Go
in
ahead.
and out. I said here is a gap. Like on the 9th, the 6th, it was at 1740 or so. And then on that Monday, it opened up $300 higher. It didn't climb up. It gapped up. Like one took the elevator, that's a gap. A rise is the stairs. A gap down the elevator, a fall is the stairs.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is I believe it's going to gap back down. I just don't know when. And then I think it's going to start channeling wherever it gaps back down to. So let me see. You can't even put your cursor. Let me see if I can zoom in. It might even gap back down to 18s between 17 and the 1800s because that's where it was like, that's where the stock is really moving between.
Yeah. All right.
I would want to know what made it gap up.
So that's what I got to do too.
All right, let's go to it. So that's the 6th. The news for the 5th and the 6th. News. And G, maybe you can check the Benzinga for the 5th and the 6th. On the 5th, earnings. Is that earnings? Yeah, earnings was on the 5th. So earnings made it gap up. Earnings made it gap up. All right. Earnings made it gap up. So that's what that was.
Mhm.
But
Then
my
you had an analyst. They lowered the price target to 2170, which on one hand means that something's not going as well as they originally thought, which is why they lowered it. But also, it's at 2170, which doesn't necessarily help the theory of it gapping down. But it's just a price target, and price targets can be all over the place. I just, I would dig more into the earnings, which is against the technical analysis, but that's a big gamble.
yeah.
It is. I just liked it because it was like where the stock is holding at right now. It traditionally that's I ain't gonna say it's like an all time high, but it's like an all time high. And when it's reached that level in the past, if you can go back in the past of this stock, once it gets like around this level, it tends to drop back down.
Yeah.
It has that pattern. It definitely does.
But also remember, it came down. It did
You
come
can't really count that one,
in
but
20.
the ones before,
It came down in 2019, but this one is the Rona.
yeah, I wouldn't count that one.
So I think it can come back down to 1650 potentially. So but also if it gap down, you miss it. So that's what I'm asking, like, what's making you think it's going to gap down? But if it falls down, I would wait for it to cross this 1945 resistance, and then you playing all the way down to 1648. You feel me?
Yeah. I mean, if it gap down or fall down, it still got a long ride down. Because I don't see it going up again.
Yeah, but I just want to
Crazy
overemphasize the
news.
difference between a gap and a fall. Like
Oh
if
yeah,
it gap
yeah.
tomorrow, it's already down. You missed it. You would have had to be in Friday. It's already down. If it falls down, you can
Mhm.
get in tomorrow and ride the wave down.
Mhm.
You feel me? Those two totally different things in terms of pace. Like one is a drag race and one is a marathon. So, and it's only going to gap with major news like Booking Holdings CEO committed 10 felonies during Thanksgiving. Boom, gap. Or as opposed to Bookings Holdings did not meet these business requirements, XYZ, and it starts to fall. So you can ride the fall. A gap you gotta already be in. Like G with uh what was it? Whatever stock that gapped up that quick, that flew up like that, like you had to be in. He couldn't ride that up. He missed
Slack.
slack.
Yep,
Yeah. Yeah.
it didn't even gap, but yeah.
I mean, that was overnight. That was a gap for something to fly like that.
But so a little more research. I'm looking at some of the history on it. So, and this is another learning point because we said at the beginning the stock price is high as hell. Booking. So I just read this article real quick. Obviously, airlines, cruise companies, all of those are all the way down. But two companies hit all-time highs this year: Booking and Expedia. Both travel. What is it? Travel service companies. So Booking owns, where is it? Booking owns Priceline and Kayak. So they're centralized in Europe. So remember Europe, their flight restrictions, I guess at least in Europe, are not as stringent as ours have been going like out of country. So they've done very well. The analysts predict that as the market improves, as airlines improve, booking should also gain more money, or the stock price should go up. Expedia is also at an all-time high. It's EXPE if we want to take a look at it in a minute, but it's only $130. So if you believed in travel service stocks in general, you could probably use the same thought process that we're using here, or if you didn't believe in them for booking and transfer that to Expedia, and most likely get the same type of action at a lower cost. I would assume that Expedia probably looks similar to this. Maybe there's a gap somewhere that was similar, and you could have that same strategy, but the option price would be more reasonable. Because I mean,
this joint expensive. This is big dog style. Like I just went a month out with no research, and they're going for like
10,000.
And that's 100,000. No, 10,000. Yeah,
10,000.
8 to 10,000 for a contract.
Oh yeah, you gotta have that bread.
But look at
So, right now, bookings might not be for me right now. So we maybe later in the game.
What's Expedia?
EXP.
All right, boom. So Expedia. Let's just look at the
Same
price.
thing.
Here it is.
Yeah, a lot more manageable. 700 to about 1,300.
But it's literally the same chart, bro. Like,
Same.
you feel me? Like that gap up happened around the same time. If you have the same feeling, there are probably some nuances between Expedia and Booking that make them different. But in general, the same things made them both rise. So if you believe it's going to fall, this would just be the opportunity to get in at a lower cost. And again, one of the benefits of Booking is that it's based in Europe. So they have more business offshore, whereas Expedia is a U.S. company. It says it owns Orbitz and VRBO. If we go into a lockdown, this joint is definitely dropping.
Yeah.
So I would say, unless you buying the
I'm about
10,000.
to chart this.
Yeah, this might be the one. Unless you big dog.
Got it right now.
All right.
So VRBO. I mean, no, Expedia.
I'm
XPE.
definitely about to put Expedia on the books.
EXPE, let me write that down.
Yeah, so nobody can
The
take
EXPO.
EXPE.
Sunday session.
You got cut off.
I said, yeah, go ahead. Make sure you write it down now, so that way we don't get anything there in the week. Oh, you ain't told me during the meeting. We walk all through it now.
Hey, coach, dude, don't you have practice during the week and y'all review the plays, but the quarterback has to call the play during the game?
Here we go with some what? What are you saying?
Call the play that we've been practicing all week, or we might not run the play if it don't come up in the game. You feel me? So it don't matter what you practice, you gotta call it out when it's that time.
Yeah, you right. You got
Like, I'm sure the Eagles practice the Philly special all season, and they ain't run it until money time in the Super Bowl. Why you ain't run the play? We've been practicing it. We all practice it.
We call it out.
All right, but let's we got our picks of the week. Let's go back to here. And I don't know, we got two people, whoever they are. So are there any charts that y'all two would like for us to look at? Any charts y'all would like for us to look at? Wish I could see who they were. Any charts anybody would like for us to look at? All right, I'm taking that as a no. Any last second things from y'all? Three?
One quick one. I'm on Benzinga. It looks like the UK is going to approve Pfizer's vaccine within days and secure 2 million more doses from Moderna. So I imagine we're going to see some action with those two starting tomorrow. I had a Pfizer call, but I got out of it to move my money somewhere else. But
So Pfizer, you said Pfizer, Moderna?
yeah, Pfizer is PFE. Moderna is mRNA.
All right, let's check those out real quick. PFE and mRNA.
My chart is tripping from Moderna for some reason.
All right, so Pfizer. We already got it all set up. It's been in the channel minus the Rona, which don't really count in terms of analysis because everybody has it. So we got one revolution. It's almost at a second full revolution, and it's heading back up. Yeah, so it's going up, and especially pay attention in the morning to the pre-market. But and also this too, it's only from where it is to resistance. It's $2. It's only $2 to gain. But the all-time high is 44, which is still only not all-time high. Is that the all-time high? It may be. Yeah, so it's only a $7 gap. So you would have to run the numbers to see what you're talking about.
I think here you would bet on one, it getting back to the high if vaccine goes well, and two, it just skyrockets because of the vaccine. Like not because Pfizer did anything else of note, but just the the volatility, the excitement behind the vaccine might push this to mid 50s or mid 40s or 50.
All right, well, let's see. Well, I guess let's predict that it's going to break resistance and go to 44. We don't really got nothing to compare to. Oh, well, yeah, we got here to compare to. It's a long time. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14.
I mean, you're talking 90 days.
Yeah, it's about 45 days, but that was also pre-pandemic. I guess we're gonna have to kind of go with a hunch on this one instead of the chart. I guess let's pick like a month. I guess that's the normal to go
I mean,
from.
shout out to Dev. Dev called it last week. I think he got a March or April call just to give it some time.
All right, so March or April, and we're looking at up to $44.
Yeah.
So March. Okay, all of these break evens are under 44. This one got the most people playing.
That's not crazy.
So that it's only a 425 option.
Yeah.
So it's a 0.7 delta with a 677 spread. 0.7 delta, 677 spread.
That's $473. What's the theta?
Theta is 0.01.
So it's $1.
But that's
Yeah.
yes, yeah, dollar. I'm tripping. Dollar. So $1.
How many days until expiration?
We 30? No,
No,
this one's
So
March
$30.
8th. March
90.
8th.
I would say that's like 90
100,
days.
roughly 105, because you got 3 months and then half a month for March. So about 105.
Okay.
So I mean, you're saying worst case scenario, you're still making about 368.
How much you had to put up?
You had to put up
Or something, 450, 490.
425. That's about 80% return, 70% return. Yeah, that's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal.
But yeah, I think this is one where if you got it to just stash, you get it in hopes of it flying up. Because I mean, do you want to? You could wait that long for $300, but I think if you did get an option out that far, you would be hoping that something comes out with the vaccine that pushes it to 50, 60, something like that, something crazy. Because you can make that same money for that same cost a lot quicker somewhere else.
Yeah, definitely. All the way to March. It's a long time. Long time. Any closing thoughts, questions, fellas?
Nah.
No, I'm definitely looking at
I think it went-
Expedia.
Another good session. Definitely another good session.
Yeah, definitely. All right, y'all. Get this money. See y'all next week. Peace out.
All right.
All right.